the summer. I'ma get rich and I swear to my mother. I'ma get rich and I swear to my mother.
Y'all, this is literally the most beautiful lock hairstyle I've ever seen. Quite literally the most beautiful hairstyle I've ever seen in my life. Like, Winnie Jean, shout out to you for this method. Like, you really snapped on this one. Like, I love these. We're gonna do the 6 on this side. I've already completed the rest of my head. I free parted this, so I just did scallop parting because I wanted it to lay really flat, because they are pretty big, but I didn't want them to look very bulky. It's very easy, very beginner friendly, and I wanted to make sure that anybody that wanted to try out this style was able to do it at home. Very easy DIY, so beautiful, looks so natural. Like, I'm giving Island Goddess right now. Like, I can't wait to do this side with y'all. I have a little bimbo piece that is of course pink. I'm gonna put 2 on this side, 1 in the back. I use braiding hair for this one. I'll show y'all the method I use to like curl it to get it to look like this as well. Without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. Please don't pay any serious attention to my edges. Like, they look crazy, I know. I just have to separate them to get them like out of the way for me to section out the part. So I'm gonna section out 6 pieces, so it's equal to this side, and I'm just doing crescent moon parting. So literally what I'm doing is taking my finger, and be careful separating your hair because you need to be gentle with your hair. Your hair is beautiful and deserves love and gentleness. You just kind of like finger part it like that. And if you're having trouble with your hair, use some moisturizer. This is one that I've literally loved for such a long time. It's a daily leave-in and it's by Mega Grow. This is literally some of the best leave-in conditioner that I've ever used. It instantly makes my hair so soft. And we'll just twist this up. And I'm gonna repeat the same process of doing the crescent moon parting with my pinky and twisting it up to make my parts a little bit more precise, because y'all know I'm a perfectionist. I will go back in with the comb, but you don't have to do that. That's just something that I prefer to do. So I'm just gonna time lapse it while I part the rest of my hair.
Bigger, they got your head guys. Bitches slow, so I give them a pass. Like, tip of the stack. Bitches more work, cause they know I got bands. Bitch, I don't give a damn, and I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Tryna be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he's smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head guys. Bitches slow, so I give them a pass. Tip of the stack. Bitches more work, cause they know I got bands. Bitch, I don't give a damn, and I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Tryna be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he's smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head guys. Bitches slow, so I give him a pass. Like, tip of the stack.
Hey y'all, so I'm about to get into the voiceover so that we can talk about what's really going on right here in this tutorial. So, first things first, I am braiding the Marley hair onto my hair, and this is going to be the base of the lock. I feel like what I'm doing is pretty self-explanatory, and this is not necessarily a braiding tutorial, but you can see from what I'm doing how I'm attaching it. These braids do not need to be clean, they don't need to be cute. These are just the base of the lock, and they're going to be covered by the lock hair. So really just do what you can here. If you need to do the rubber band method, just if that's like more simple, go ahead and do what's best for you, but you just need to attach it and braid it all the way down until your hair is completely braided. The reason why I like to braid it all the way down to my natural hair is because I feel like that protects my hair the most. I feel like when you don't braid your hair all the way into the lock, it can leave it just scraggly at the end, and that can definitely lead to damage, breakage, split ends, and all the stuff that you do not want to have if you're trying to retain length. So after I finish braiding it down, I'm going to take this piece of hair that I curled onto a flexi rod to give it that like curl that the rest of the hair has, just so when I'm wrapping it around the lock, it has some texture and it's able to really just like do what I need it to do. One thing that I will say about lock hair is that if you're trying to use hair that doesn't have texture, you need to figure out how to curl it, make it kind of like texture, whatever you need to do so it's easier to wrap, because when you try and wrap straight hair, it does not give the same effects, and you have to do a lot more work. And so right here you can see me separating it and making it look all fluffy and nice, and then I'm gonna crochet it through the base of my lock and start wrapping it from there. Typically I don't like to crochet through the base, but because these are so big it doesn't matter. But if you want a knotless look coming from the top of your head, what you can do is crochet it through like a quarter down of the braid, so you'll put it through the braid rather than putting it through the base of your head, and that can make the top look a lot thinner and like kind of give it a more flat look. But just because of the look I was going for, it really didn't matter because the locks were already pretty jumbo. And so I'm gonna be wrapping it around the base of the lock just to make sure that it's a little bit covered and that hair is not gonna be sticking out. And then I'm gonna go in and wrap the hair around the lock to give it the actual lock look. This one is one of the bimbo pieces, so it's a little bit different than what the other hair looks like with the other locks, but I'm gonna show you that with the black lock after this clip. So just enjoy this and let me know if you have any questions, but I hope it's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, one more thing. I keep my thumb in there to make sure that it gives the fluffy effect, because if you wrap it too tight, it will not look right. I made the mistake. I did not show y'all what it looked like with the mistake, but I'm just letting y'all know that you need to figure out how to make sure you keep some distance between the hair and the base of the lock, especially if you're using like a little bit less hair, because I was not trying to use all the hair that I had to wrap it or braid it down. I wanted to kind of like conserve the hair that I was using, and so because of that, sometimes it would get a little bit too skinny. But if you stick your thumb in there and wrap it around your thumb and then pull your thumb down and keep doing it that way, it helps it not get too skinny. Another thing that I wanted to like put y'all on to is the fact that like at the top of it I used the hair that I curled with the perm or flexi rod, sorry, but at the end of it where the blonde hair that is the Marley hair sticking out, I'm now using that hair to wrap the lock. And what this does is give it a really beautiful texture, and it also makes it a really pretty ombre. You'll see it at the end, but that is one of the techniques that I like to use because it helps be able to use the hair and also blend the hairs together to kind of mesh them, so that the braiding hair is not kind of like on its own trying to do its own thing. Like mixing it with the Marley hair makes it grip so much better, and it just looks super cute. And then I take this little curly piece that I had to seal everything up, because you know with locks you have to make sure that you wrap it real tight, because if you don't wrap it tight or if you don't wrap it right, you know that shit is going to come undone. So I'm just going over it real quick with the piece of hair, and I'm gonna go up and down, and you'll see that in the clip. But I just wanted to let y'all know what I was doing with that, so if you did have some of the Marley hair sticking out after you did your Kanakalon little curly DIY thing, then you can have something to help seal it. And even if you don't have the Marley hair sticking out at the bottom, you can kind of get a piece of Marley hair and just wrap it over it, and I feel like that would layer it and give it a lot of really nice texture, because locks are meant to look very bodacious, beautiful, and natural. It's giving es muy perfecto. Like that looks real good. So now we're gonna go into the black locks, which are the majority of the locks that I have in my head, and these ones are using basically the same exact method, but the hair that I'm using to wrap it is a little bit different, and then also the hair that I'm using to braid it is still Marley hair, but it's just not the blonde Marley hair. And so right now you see me attaching it to my head, the same thing that I told y'all for the last time. You don't have to braid it perfectly, but you do need to make sure that it's securely attached to your head, so it has something to so that the lock that is going to be wrapped around it has something to securely hold on to, because you don't want your locks falling out your head. That would be real crazy and mad disrespectful to yourself. So like just do your best to make sure that your hair is securely on your head. So again, we're gonna braid it down all the way until my real hair ends, and then we're gonna wrap it with the lock hair.
You bigger, they got your head guys. This is slow, so I give them a pass. Looking at me like who bigger than she. I'm the one who they wishing to be. They hit my top cause I don't wanna be. If you make it a fake and I already eat. I hook a play and go to the saloon. Turn the ass when I walk in the room. Like me, my pockets, I'm stuffy, nothing was the same. Taking your boo, making it move. Flexing on niggas and bitches that take.
So this is the black hair that I'm using to wrap the locks. You can see that it is really like curly, but it's a different type of curl than the Marley hair. It's like a little bit looser and it gets super fluffy, and it just is so nice to use for locks. I think that this is one of the most beautiful hairs to use for locks because of the results. But like I was telling you with the other hair, you need to put your thumb in between the space of the braid that you use for the base of your lock and the hair that you're using to wrap around the lock to make sure that it has that fully fluffy effect, because if you don't put it there and give it that texture, it's just not gonna look right. It's gonna be too skinny. It's just not gonna be what you want it to be. So if you're trying to get it bodacious and juicy like the ones on my head, you need to make sure that you put your thumb in there, or you use more Marley hair. So what you could do is, after you braided the hair and attached it, you can then crochet another piece of Marley hair to make it thick enough to where you don't have to worry about putting your thumb in there if that's too much work. But I feel like the thumb method is pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy, very beginner friendly. So it's just something that I feel like y'all should be able to accomplish as beginners. And so I'm just gonna wrap it all the way down like I did before. I'm gonna kind of show y'all what it looks like when I'm wrapping it, but please excuse my top. I got some big girls and they were girling, so like, we're all humans, we've all seen titties before. If it's too much for TV, turn it off. But I'm just trying to show y'all what it looks like when you're wrapping and you get further down the lock. In the aforementioned scandalous clip, I was trying to show y'all how to wrap the end of your lock, but for some reason it got messed up. So if y'all need help with that, let me know and I can make another video. Yeah, God in the universe aligned for me to be able to do my edges so good to end this video. Like, they really snapped for me. Like, shout outs for allowing that edge to be swooped to the gods, because y'all know I don't know how to lay my edges at all. Like, award winning, like breathtaking. Like, are you serious? I'm finally finishing my hair, y'all. Like, I'd be feeling like that, but this is literally so beautiful. I love the little accent locks that I did, and I just think that this is just y'all, it's 1 a.m. I have to be at work in the morning at 9, 10. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I need to wrap it up, and I probably have a couple assignments I need to do, so I'm probably not gonna go to sleep yet. But this is the final result of the hair. I think it's beautiful. I didn't do them very long this time just because I didn't want to. Y'all don't have on an appropriate shirt to like show y'all, so like, this is what they look like. They're so pretty. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and have a great night. Love y'all. Bye.